Cavecast, the uncensored show for nerds of all kinds.
So guys, just so you know, being a reaction channel, you kind of get handicapped a little bit on how you listen to music, things like that. But I go through my stints, I think Kyle does too, where you watch reactions channels and to songs that you're allowed to.
Yeah.
And I was going down a deep rabbit hole of Sleep Token.
Yeah.
And I found him on Ascensionism. And I was like, all right, let's go. And I was going through a bunch of people and it was his look. It was like his thumbnail and stuff because of his backgrounds. And I know he's changed a couple of times since, but I was like, all right, let's see what this dude's got. And I clicked on it. I'm like, yes, bro. This dude's got the same kind of presence and how he reacts. So I was just all in and I was like, Kyle, you got to check this dude out. So that's kind of the cliff notes of how I found him. Yeah, and it was wild, man, especially because I know we talked off camera last week when we got rained out with a storm, just because we didn't want to run the computer and stuff. So guys, full transparency, we've been able to chat with Rager and everything. It's been awesome, but we wanted to kind of reiterate some things tonight because you do have a very, very cool skill set of things that we really want to dive into and just let you just geek out about it because I know we will too. But but no, man, it was crazy because I remember I went on a Fall For Me reaction kick because I was like, I need to know if anybody else sobbed. Because there's a huge section of that reaction that's missing. I don't know how much you cut out, but it was the hardest I've cried doing a reaction. Probably about 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah,
really?
Because it was the only thing I remember was after he said the line, "My insecurities surround me like lions in a den." And that was and then everything that followed, I remember just putting my head back and it was one of those kind of cries. I was I need a second. So we got up and then you thankfully didn't throw the embarrassing shit online. And I appreciate that. So, but no, man, your reaction to that was really awesome. It just seeing how much it hit you, I'm sure we may talk some mental health stuff tonight if the conversation goes there, but just how seriously you take that and your experiences with it and how transparent you were in that reaction. That's besides the visuals and also just your setup, it was another layer to you that I was man, this is a guy that gets it. Yeah. And it was really awesome, man.
So I guess I don't know that it was one of the questions I gave you because I told him, I was I wanted to kind of keep the questions the same that I'd given you, not to throw you, a quick one or whatever, but what as being on the Sleep Token thing, what got you hooked or what made you go through Sleep Token?
The summoning.
Oh, shit. Okay.
The summoning.
All right.
So I didn't get into Sleep Token, I've said this multiple times and a lot of my reactions, going down the entire rabbit hole. I regret that I didn't check out Sleep Token when they were first popping off, albums before. Yeah. I actually ran into them from Take Me Back to Eden with the summoning. That was the first song that dropped. And then I saw a couple people saying, dude, Sleep Token this, Sleep Token that. I'm like, all right, so Sleep Token this, bet. So I turned on, the summoning and I'm just dude, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Because I listened to growing up, I listened to a lot of almost death metal bands, kind of almost industrial death metal bands. So the summoning reminded me of this song called Dirge for November by Opeth.
Oh shit. Okay. I've not heard that name in a while. Yeah.
It was a 7-minute long, just epic. And it had all of these different subgenres of metal, but a lot of classical kind of feels in it. And I'm dude, this is giving me a lot of I'm pretty sure during the summoning reaction, I was I'm getting a lot of Opeth vibes because it was really, it came in heavy and then it slowed down a little bit. Then we got really heavy and then we got some, melodic guitars and everything. And then we got real spicy at the end of it. So I'm this is kind of crazy. So from that song on, I'm what else can they do? Yeah. Immediately open the floodgates.
Yeah. Because it was the same with us as where we started with the summoning and we didn't have the lyrics up, which it kind of gave us a handicap, I feel and we were okay, and then you were saying that ending where it just came, we're what the fuck is this?
I've never heard Jen go to blues ever.
Yeah. It got us to where we were well, we want to do more. And then we were smart and got into the lyrics and pulled them up and found out about this whole lore thing. So it was kind of almost very similar to you was we found them through Eden and then was we have to fucking know.
Yeah. Because even jumping back to the old albums and stuff, because I think that it's the same apprehension that we had with going back to like old like NF stuff was that it's like, man, like, is the quality going to be less? Like, you know, it maybe like they haven't honed in yet, but I mean, we've gone through the entire catalog and it's safe to say that they have just never changed their sound. They've only developed it and evolved. Like, and it's just done nothing but get better.
Right.
You know,
right.
so yeah.
But I was going to say, go ahead. Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna like just put in there one of the only other albums by Sleep Token that like really was like, yeah, they just kind of developed was the Sundowning album.
Oh,
that was
God.
like probably my favorite album in general from Sleep Token. Not even Take Me Back.
Wow.
That's interesting because I know for a while you were on like this was my favorite album, and then I think did you end up back on Eden with it or no?
No, Tomb is my favorite album.
Tomb,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, This Place Will Come.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it has Fall for me. Like it's everything that like, and seriously, because it's like going from that and then how that like just leads into Descending, and it's like straight out of Subnautica. Like, dude, I love it, dude. It's awesome. So
I get you then. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, man.
So okay,
Definitely relate.
I'm going to start off. I know we already did one question with kind of reaction related, but I think this might kick some things off. What made you want to do reactions? Like, what was like the thing that sparked it?
Okay, so back in like 2017, so actually this kind of like roots into like my friend circle and other content creators, and so I'm gonna root it back to the guy that got busted open on Sheer Will.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He was actually a content creator for years before me, and he's actually one of my best friends. He was like, you really fuck with music, and you have like a really loud personality, and you seem to like know a lot of history of like a lot of these bands. You want to like hop in on a couple, see how you feel about it. And then, if you get to that point, do it. So I'm like, sure, okay. And I think like the first thing that I actually checked out where I was like, yeah, this is a really fucking cool feeling. And then like kind of seeing the response of all that was during a reaction for Drugs by Falling in Reverse.
Oh yes, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
No shit. Way to start.
Yeah, especially getting Corey Taylor in that breakdown. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
That actually was that moment. That was the moment, actually, where I was just like, because I saw like just how animated I could get. Like that moment was like how like it kicked everything off. I'm like, we might actually have something here because he had just started. Like, I think he had just started his channel. Like, it was still like doing decently. Like, it was still building at the time. But that specific like reaction on his channel was like super high at that point. So I'm like, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. Like people are talking, people are interacting. And I was just like, all right, well, this might be something I might kind of have an knack for. And it wasn't exactly that when I started. It was very like tense.
Really? Okay.
I would not have guessed that because I mean, even like when Mom was on the first time where she was like, I didn't know what to do with my hands. I didn't want to talk too loud. I'm like, no, it's a reaction. Go for it. Like do your thing, but it's interesting. I never would have pegged that like for like your first round, dude. You're just an animated guy. Like, I mean, just in
very
conversation.
Comfortable. Yeah, very comfortable. And that also kind of ties into what we were talking about when we were just FaceTiming him, where you said something about you kind of almost lightweight get like stage fright. Even being on in front of the camera, like that's just even like, like just to put out a video, that's crazy. But like you said, like a crowd though is fine or something like that. I swear. I was like, how the fuck is the opposite of me?
It's like once you get thrown into a situation, you're just kind of like, all right, we got to roll with it now. So it's like once you start like running, your feet just kind of take you.
Sure.
Even to this very moment right now, as we're sitting here, still stage fright. Like it takes a little bit of time.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
All right. I'm not going to lie. I was going to say at the begining when I was fumbling, he probably cut it out. It was like, I was like, all right, dude, this is like an interview. Like, get this shit going. Like, So I kind of had it too.
It happens to us, man. Like there's some nights when we do reactions where it's like, like we can't find our ass with both hands.
Yeah.
Like, cause like I would say like for the most part, and I don't want to give a percentage if it's improper, but I would say like maybe like 80% of the time, like we're on point where it's like the intro goes smoothly, the end remember is fine, or like, having moments of like picking stuff out that there's not much like to cut out because the conversation is flowing so well. But dude, there are nights where it's like both of us have just been like, dude, I am so fucking sorry. Give me a second.
3 times in
like,
a row.
Like trying to say something, dude. It's rough. And especially like you being on your own and like when you make mistakes, like how do you kind of center yourself? Because I know it's easy like whenever like we're in a room together, but like
we just go.
Yeah, right. So we've
had then start back where like that's how we do it. So I can edit. Like it's So yeah, like what do you do? Yeah, he's right.
So it's funny that you asked that question because I actually had a fat moment of this during the All My Life reaction. Like right before, like I actually have like in my entire video section of my computer, there's like 28 non-used takes of me just trying to get the fucking intro right.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
dude.
I feel it, man. I feel it. Where there are nights I'm like, wow, dude, I talk for a living. Like, bro, like, get it the fuck out.
Oh God. And the worst is whenever we do get the giggles because like sometimes it'll happen and it's like that moment of and then you have to like try to like reel it in and then one of us will like and then it just kicks up again.
The fact that at least I have this motherfucker where when I was like, yeah, we got Juniper, and I just kept going, and he's like, hey, it's Ginger, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
if he wouldn't have told me, I would have just fucking went with it. So it was just like, bro, mistakes happen, and you have to get it together. Like I get it, but it's like that's crazy that it's like it's not just us.
Yeah, right. The world's not so small, or it's not so big. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Okay.
So how I get back and centered, I don't.
Oh wow!
Every time I fuck up, I yell "fuck" really loud and just hit end record.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he's me,
dude. This is great. It's oh my God.
I yell "fuck" really loud and then I just hit end record. And luckily, 99.9% of the time, I'm completely alone when I'm recording. So like, there's no like, I'm not bothering anybody.
Sure.
But just seeing it back is fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
because in the
dude.
moment, dude, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Right.
But like after I watch it, I'm like, dude, that is fucking hilarious. Like I've almost like contemplated like making a whole just compilation of just like my fuck ups.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Bloopers, things like that. People want to see that because they're like, oh, they are human or like whatever, because they only see what we let them see, man. You know, like when we put a video together, as far as like, you know that because, you know, editing your own stuff, which by the way, I finally watched the re-upload or whatever of us on All My Life. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, dude, the fire the unicorn part, dude, that thing, dude, it was amazing, dude. It was so good.
And Kyle and I were looking at each other.
While I was editing it. I was crying, dog. Like literally just straight up tears editing that shit. And I spent, I think it was only like maybe like 20 minutes. I was just in front of my computer just editing it, and I was just dying the entire fucking time, dude. I was like crying, just wiping tears the whole time.
I'm like, bro,
God.
this is great. And Kyle goes, yeah, he's using blah, blah, blah. And I was like, right, he's not even using Premiere. And he goes, you know how much that pisses me off?
Because, dude, like, I know how to animate stuff in Premiere. And the thing is, too, is that, like, I don't like doing it in that software. I have to jump over to After Effects to, like, really feel, you know, very comfortable. And especially, like, with your editing, too. Because what program is it that you use again?
So I use it's like a default program. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, it was already installed on my PC when I turned it on. It's called CapCut.
CapCut. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't even use the premium version. Like I use like only like all of the live settings that they like have available to you.
Oh my God, dude. It's the fact that you're able to get that, like the quality out, especially because like the times that you've added like the shockwaves in or like, you know, the fire and stuff, dude, like it's because a lot of people I've seen that they'll add that stuff, but they don't really add a lot of velocity of what's like happening behind it. And it's like during like the unicorn part where it's like Eric's just shaking like a motherfucker. And it's like, it adds like the perfect amount of like intensity that was needed for that moment. Cause that was a great moment.
It was. That's why I was like, whoa. I'm like, how the fuck? I was like, I'm the one who edits. Like, how the fuck did he do that? Like, you know, but no, it's that's the thing is that's the difference between though, you know, somebody like you and somebody like me and the channel, like how you edit differently and how your videos look compared to like when something big happens to ours. Like it's just us being animated. Yeah. You have things like Tulit that, you know, the flame comes around like you were saying, or like the bass drops and the rumbles and things like ours is just kind of go. Yeah, like, you know, you put like more thought into stuff like that, man. And that's really awesome. It pays off. Like it shows.
Yeah.
So when I do the editing process and like there's certain parts in like a song, so obviously the breakdown, big fucking moment. Like we're gonna open this bitch up, we're gonna shake the core, we're gonna throw some explosions in there, you know, like we're gonna make this shit like look like a fucking party.
Yeah.
But like other moments, like there's certain moments, like certain ways that like I feel, or like if there's a certain phrase I say during it, I'm like, that's definitely gonna, work for like a pan shot. Like as I'm rewatching it again, I'm like,
Sure.
and then I'll just go and I'll start layering stuff, and then like I'll extend the duration, I'll turn the filters down, I'll turn like the range of how much it shakes. Like there's like a lot of intricate little things that go into it. So CapCut, like I would completely recommend for anybody that's like starting out with YouTube and like wants to do like more like I guess animated shit, because the way that I saw it, like when it like fell into like, again, the name of the channel, like the way I saw it was, I'm going to take my emotions and I'm going to turn this shit up to Catholic. Like I'm going to turn this shit all the way up to Catholic. Like I'm going to elevate the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So basically I wanted to visualize what I'm internally feeling. And that's basically like my editing thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That definitely makes sense, man, because, not only just in the fact of like how you interpret music or your reaction is, but you're also doing it with your editing as well. Like you were saying, on top of that, layer as far as like how you feel, and because it's art, like we talk about that too. Like I think you interpret it the same way. Like it's artistic. It's how you feel. It's like NF was somebody that, he would say things that just people just didn't know how to say, and like he just felt it right. Same with Sleep Token. So I like that, man. You take pride in what you do. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Because it's like, you guys know, it's hours away from your life, man. Like it's whether you do it for, your mental health aspect, whether you do it for, the income, whether you do it for, just your love of music, you're giving so much time to it. So it's like, why not put some work into it?
Correct.
For real. Yeah. That's, honestly, that's really, I think, why I stuck around on your videos, because there's been plenty of times that, we like, cause we've had nights where, like, for instance, like when a new like Falling in Reverse song comes out, like we will sit in the living room and it's like, cool, let's just find 6 reactors. Like, obviously, like we'll watch Ron's if it's up, and we'll watch yours, or like, like different things. But it's kind of like that moment of like, you know what, like
who else?
Yeah. It's like, let's find somebody that we've never watched before, even if it has like 100 or 1,000 views or like whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, it's kind of like, no, like these people are enjoying this too. So it's like, how do they interpret their enjoyment? And is it exciting to watch? And then, dude, like you're one of the guys that we like. I know for a fact that I watch, like he watches, and I'm sure like mom and like everybody too. Where it's just like, no, like it's like you're dynamic, like you actually give a shit, and that was the first thing that I really felt about watching your channel, and then also the short films that you've worked on too, man. Because like,
let's get into that.
Because that's what I will say is this, man, is that for reference here, is that if you want to find any of the short films, they're all going to be linked in the description below. And if you want specific ones on there, we'll make sure we'll put them there. Give these a watch, because it's one of those that like, when I go into watching just a movie in general, and that's really what I try to do whenever I watch, even if it's a low budget film or if it's, amateur filmmakers, is that I'm like, okay, they need to be able to keep my attention.
Yes.
They need to be able to, grip me in a way that it's like not only like the severity of attention, but also the emotion. I want to be able to feel what the characters are feeling, things like that. And Field of View, that was one. That was the first one that we watched. And I'm not going to lie, I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, because I think you need to take that in with a fresh mind. But dude, there was a couple of moments that it was kind of like when movement would happen, and I'm like, that wasn't there before. I'm like, what is happening right now? And then there's a continuous shot. Like there's all these great things.
Cameraman was amazing, and how he did the So, anyways, let's let him take the
Tell us about Field of View, man. Tell us everything about it that you can.
So Field of View was basically kind of it's a proof of concept. This is like one of those things that's like, all right, we have an idea. We obviously don't have the budget to shoot the full thing, because we're just some assholes from Massachusetts, and like it just. We wanted to conceptualize a part of it where we could kind of, show what it could be and, run with it. So that night entirely, I feel like I think was like spur of the moment. Like he kind of hit us up, I think that day, and was just like, hey, let's, I got this idea, let's knock it out. We got the warehouse. It was his job, I think like maybe like 20 minutes from where I lived. And I was like, okay. Cause he wanted to try, some things. And one of them was that very long one-shot take.
Yeah, and so good.
I don't recall how many times we did it, but I don't think it was that many. I think it was like maybe like 2 or 3 dry runs of just doing it real quick, and then we shot. Like I think we shot it maybe like 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
So it was only like 6 times altogether. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, so the curiosity I have is that was there a steady rig that was being used in the camera? Was it all just handheld? Like what all went into that?
So he uses a couple of things, but I think for the most part, if I'm not mistaken, I would say don't quote me, but then again, he, I think it was handheld that time, but he does use a spider rig, which is like this thing that like, you hold against your chest, and then you have like the two handles that you hold, and then the camera like sits like right in front. Then I think he has like another attachment screen that he can like kind of see things a little bit better. So he can kind of guide it and everything. He also uses a gimbal. So like he attaches his camera to like an actual gimbal. So it gets all of those like smooth shots while he's moving everything. So you get a lot of those like cinematic pan effects.
Yeah.
But I think for that one, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to say I think it was a gimbal. I think it was like an actual gimbal.
Yeah.
But it could have been handheld, but I'm pretty sure with like the steadiness of it, I think it was a gimbal.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause I mean, even the fact of like what really blew my mind was the fact that how the camera follows you. And I'm trying to be vague, but it's like the idea that, you're outside and then you travel to the inside.
Yeah.
You go to your workstation, and when certain events occur, you walk over to grab something, and it was like this fluid movement
When
of
the
just
pickup.
when the pickup happened, and it was just like, okay, no, this is what's happening. This is where your attention needs to be. And like really like what I got from that short alone, not even talking about the rest of the films, but like it's a consistent thing, man. Like, dude, like there's a James Wan quality to that where it's like, dude, he makes sure that your attention is exactly where he wants it to be. And sometimes he misleads you. So it's like that, like moments of like, the camera panning around the couch and you think that the ghost is going to be there, but it isn't. Then it cuts and then it pops up. Like, it's stuff like that, dude. There were a couple of moments that we were kind of like, oh, it got us, dude. It was great, man. It was so fun.
Like I was telling Kyle that you guys do such a good job. And guys, when you do go back and please watch them.
Yes.
Understand that some of these are almost like 7-8 years old as well. So watching them, I understood that, and what programs were probably only available in certain things. I'm like, dude, this is great because they are using what is available to them, first of all. And second of all, the words film riot was thrown around a couple of times because I feel like that's like, it was almost like watching some stuff that they would do. I'm like, dude, yes. Like, I'm loving that these guys are doing this.
Yeah.
I'm getting hit with nostalgia right now.
So we talked a little bit of kind of off camera, but yeah, so like you're also like Film Riot was kind of like your film school, or like where you like kind of like figured out how to do things, or like where the interest was.
So I'm not gonna quote Alex, but I like to think that we were Film Riot bred, because a lot of like the things that we did were, taken from like Film Riot. And like if he was trying to figure out like a certain effect, like he was trying to do, whether I think it was like the gunshot effect, or like there's that you guys might know the video where they had like a watermelon or something. It was like a little like cantaloupe or something, and they replaced it with his neck for the stab thing.
Yes.
Where they stabbed right through his neck, and then they tracked him right in front of it. Things like that. So I would like to 100% like give Film Riot a lot of credit there in terms of like where like we became as filmmakers, I guess. We have a lot of inspiration there. Like there is a lot of like countless hours, just like even to this day, like I still watch a lot of Film Riot stuff.
Okay.
So
They're great.
I would like to 100% say that was the blueprint.
Well, dude, you can definitely, like I said, tell, because you guys, speaking of the gunshot, when you were doing, I forget the name of it, but we were talking about that.
Writer's block.
Writers, yes.
Yeah.
Where you guys had the the shootouts and stuff, and me and Kyle were both like, whoa, like look, we're like, it's doing the shell, like the muzzle, like all this. I'm like, this looks good.
That was actually one of the things I shouted was, I'm like, the shell popped out.
Yes.
I was like, dude, this is great. I'm like, because it's that attention to detail, man. Like, because I remember I remember the first time that I ever did a gun effect. And it was actually over at a friend's place, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm like, can you like take your plasti dipped gun or whatever, and like let's pretend to shoot a window. I'll add like the breaking glass." I had no idea what I was doing, and I composited something together just like kind of haphazardly, and was just excited to get it out to get an opinion, And we put it on Facebook, and my grandfather got a hold of us that lived in town, and he was just like, "You do know that it's illegal to discharge a firearm within like city limits, right?" And I'm like,
Grandpa,
I was like, wait.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, I do, and I'm a rebel. It was kind of like that aha moment, like messing with like VFX, where it was like, oh my god, it works, and then to see the level of like what you guys were able to pull off with like just whether it was the fight choreography or like just, you know, these amazing moments of like seeing blood splatter and all that. Like,
yes.
it did not feel hokey. Like I was in it, dude.
It was
fucking
chaotic. It was chaotic in a good way. And all those things were still happening and it didn't look corny or like, you know what I mean? Like shitty, like or off or anything. So yeah, you're right. There was a lot going on, but everything's still lined up right. So yeah, they did fantastic. Guys, you got to go watch these.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
So I'm going to correct myself because it was definitely sheer will because it was in the warehouse, right?
Sheer will.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It was sheer will.
Okay. Because I was like, writer's block. I don't think that was the right one, but I was like, well, he would know.
Yeah.
That sheer will was probably like the most fun on a movie set I think I've ever been. And it wasn't even like a movie set. It was just our buddy's fucking warehouse. And he was like actively working by himself in the warehouse. Like, all right, you know, do whatever the fuck you need to do. I'll be in here if you guys need me by.
Oh my God.
Like, watched a couple times, but like, you know, he gave us like full reign to like move the cars, set up the set the way we want to do. So it was just, it felt like, oh fuck, we can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, like with nobody's stopping us. Like, we're going to break a fucking window today, guys. And obviously, as you saw, we did, you know, visual effects wise. That was so fun because we had like, it almost felt like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Old Boy with Josh Brolin.
I've not watched it all the way through.
No, I
need to, dude. Yeah. Or we both do. Yeah.
Ooh. Oh my God. Okay. So there's a like one shot sequence where he's like going up these, this like, like parking garage and he's doing like this like nonstop, just like he's fighting groups of people. They're like waves of people like going in.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that excited me about the warehouse is because we had this whole warehouse that was like separated by like 3 large rooms. As you saw, we're just he's going door to door, just like, just wreaking havoc. And that was super sick because like there was a lot of cool shots that didn't even make it into the film. And I'm like, there's like super like longer, like high above shots. And I think a couple of like the fight sequences were a little bit longer. And I think like there may have been like a little bit more time on like the final fight. But yeah, that was a lot of fun because like location wise, like it matters. It 100% matters.
No, it does.
Because what you can do and just setting a tone for what you're trying to accomplish. I think that's what made it so great. And we had a lot of things to our disposal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And that like you said, definitely makes your job easier and probably a lot more fun too. You're not limited on, you know, like, well, this if I could just do this, but I can't. So like that was cool. Like you said, your buddy was like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like I'm just going to be over here doing my thing. That's crazy that he was still like working. Like so yeah.
And mind you, he worked on like chemicals and like, you know, like I don't even know. Like to this day, he never even told me like what exactly he worked on. But like it was like chemicals and like cleaning up like bodily fluids from like accidents.
No
and shit.
Yeah. Okay, he was one of them.
Yeah, so I didn't know what the hell was in those little like little fuel containers. They could have been like anything, dude. But yeah, it was like one of those jobs where like he was like super sketchy about it, but I was so grateful.
Right.
Well,
Grateful.
Well, definitely, man, because setting as a character, I mean, like that's something that, you know, a lot of people, whenever they try to shoot stuff in their house or whatever, where it's like, well, yeah, even if you like,
Kyle,
seriously, it's because it's like the whole idea, like I've had times that, like when I've shot things, like especially like when I was doing like Bob the Demon or like the recent project I did with Mike or whatever, like just having that space, like that huge ass warehouse or like being out in the middle of a field that looks incredible at golden hour. Like it's all that stuff, man. It's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that because a lot of people completely disregard setting, but it really does live as a character. That's what made 2022's The Batman so great. Liverpool made Batman so great and gave it that gothic feel that Matt Reeves was going for, dude.
Agreed.
Like, again, you know, Joker, 1980s, trash fucking everywhere at every single spot in New York. It was just a dump at the time.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. Like it really does help the atmosphere, and I feel like it almost brings out the best performances for the actors as well, especially if they're not actors.
Agreed, man. Like, what was it you were saying? What's his face for was freaking out on set for Harry Potter when he was like, if you don't get a real fucking
it was Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. Sorry,
yeah.
But where he
tell me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's essentially what it was. The guy that played Gandalf.
I can't remember.
Yeah, his name's leaving me, but essentially
Sir Ian McKellen.
Thank you, because I was gonna say something different, but no. Essentially, what it was that they were doing green screen to basically put him with the hobbits because it was for the Hobbit, and originally because they used to do forced perspective and all that, and they're like, no, we're gonna digitize everything, and he was just by himself. and had to
Lonely.
do all of his lines. And it was just the point of like, they ended up like boosting morale for him. Like his tent that they had, that was kind of like his dressing room or whatever. They ended up putting carpet and like Victorian stuff in there for him where it's like, no, you're Gandalf. You need to feel like it.
Ooh,
So, like,
I didn't know that part.
They boosted him out.
That's a solid. Okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Wow.
it's one of those where like, because there's a moment where I don't know if like it was like a big freak out like eventually or something, or if it was limited to this, but you can just see him sitting at the table and he's trying to say his lines and he just starts shaking and he just puts his head in his hands and he's like, guys, I need a minute. And it was that moment of like, nah, dude, like actors did not train to look at ping pong balls. It's like they act off of people, you know.
Right,
It's like
and
that's
he
just,
had none.
Yeah, and it's just like because I think Rob Zombie even said something about somebody he knew where he was like, yeah, like they told this actor to react. He's like, just look over there and just we'll react to it. He's like, well, what is it?
Right.
But, you know, so it's like that's kind of the issue with it, and I think that, you know, especially like CGI is awesome, but in the same hand, I think it's like they forget about, you know, the human aspect all the time, you know, and it's just it's tough.
So I'm actually going to use an example like with modern CGI and like even like what we accomplished in sheer will. So the example I want to use is the new Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor. You know. A lot of those fight scenes were CGI, and that bothers the hell out of me.
Wait, was it?
Because and that it was confirmed. Yeah, a lot of those fight scenes were CGI'd. And it bothers me because if you look at Sheer Will and you see the fight scenes that Josh, the main character in the leather jacket, the mask and everything, mind you, that was the first thing he had ever done in front of a camera. It just helped that he's a boxer. It helps that he's a boxer. And Alex is a phenomenal choreographer. Phenomenal. And Josh was able to just like Alex is like, all right, you know, you're going to, you know, do a twist, X, Y, and Z. And he's explaining this whole thing. And mind you, I'm just watching, smoking a cigarette on the sideline. Thank fucking God that's not me. You know, thank fucking God that's not me. And then he's like, all right, you know, and action. And then fucking kid just does it out of nowhere. I'm like, I've been doing this shit for like 10 years at this point. And he just comes in and like, I emptied a whole clip in this motherfucker and he comes in and takes it in one shot. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Cool. That is so cool, man. Because I think that there are some times where like what I've called them is the one take wonders, where like, you know, sometimes like, because there was a film that I did with some friends that will never see the light of day, but there was a good scene where our buddy Andy, where I was like, all right, man, here's your direction, here's this, here's that. It was found footage, so it's like he had control of the camera. I wanted it to be legit. Like I didn't want to do audio later. And we kind of just were like, all right, man, go walk in the dark junkyard and come back in 10 minutes once you're done with all your lines. And I think we had to alter his voice once just because like it was like the first shot where he was talking like Batman. We were like, you don't do that. Because the moment was intense. But dude, it was like sometimes you just get that because he came back on like the second or third take. And we were just standing there in the cold watching it on the viewfinder and being like, dude, this is incredible. Like, this is exactly what we were going for. So, I mean, but it's more impressive that it's like you guys were able to pull off this choreography. And, you know, I think you said that there were like some injuries and stuff that happened on set, but it's kind of like, you know, like nobody was, you know, ruined for the day because somebody threw a punch or like whatever. It's like you guys were still able to work.
One person was ruined for the day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we actually had him. It wasn't a medical emergency, but dude was definitely gushing blood out of his forehead, and we had to get it at least. You know, we cleaned it up and we slapped like a Band-Aid tightly together, slapped it on. He was good, but to make sure he wasn't concussed, we were like, all right, you know, you got your scene, but you're sitting out the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there wasn't like any like real injuries. We've only had like a handful, and like I think we've been doing this since 2008, so almost. Almost 20 years. Damn.
Yeah, bro. When you say, it wasn't just 10 years ago, bro. 10 years ago for me isn't still fucking 1994.
Yeah, no, that's messed up. I'm not about it.
Yeah, dude, like almost 20 years now, you know, and we've only had like a handful of injuries. So like, I'm super grateful, but it does come with it does come with its receipts. Cause like we, again, being, you know, just some assholes from Massachusetts with cameras, you know, like we do all of these stunts like ourselves. So like even Alex, and it's crazy. I've seen Alex do crazy shit. Like I just want to give him his flowers real quick because this dude is incredible. Like he writes everything. He does majority of the choreography. He's super collaborative, amazing editor, amazing director, just a really just collaborative and creative spirit. And like almost to the point where he fucking hates me for saying it. That dude has like almost borderline injured himself trying to show us what to do. Like that dude will
Oh my
literally
God.
put down
Yeah.
the camera and throw himself the fuck around.
You're like, no, like this.
And he'll take like hits. Like I've seen that dude bounce off the fucking ground. I'm just like, oh, damn. Like, you know, and then
But he
he's
got to
expecting
take.
me to do that
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, like I gotta dish it out. And, you know, sometimes I do it and sometimes we have just straight up not filmed a scene because I was not fucking getting it. So I
Sure,
just
yeah.
gotta give that dude props because like he puts like his body and his mind like completely out there when, you know, we're creating something. So yeah, I'm very thankful.
Yeah, it's
Hell yeah.
it's his art. You know, he clearly takes it serious, man.
Yeah, for sure. Let's say you got some questions for him
Yeah,
as well?
because I know we're kind of getting close. So I wanted to get a few more in there. So one I did want to get in. So again, guys, Kyle's doing more of the like, I guess non-music and non-reaction stuff.
Just my
kinda
film obsession.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of taking that side. So just in case we didn't get to it, I wanted to make sure I got this in. What do you think of today's new music in general? Like in general, all genres and even maybe specific ones too. But like, what do you think of in the last 10 years?
In the last 10 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
like for up till now.
So from like 2014 to 2016, I was pretty fucking worried. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Okay.
I was like even metal wasn't getting enjoyable for me.
Sure.
Like even metal for a lot of things, like even like a lot of like my rock artists, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like there
Okay.
was like a dark period for music where I was kind of musically going insane. So like I was like leaning more on like the film side of things. But in general today, I would say that there's a lot of hope for music.
Okay.
There's a lot of hope. There
agreed.
is still there's still creativity out there. How hard you have to look for it, you know, is kind of up for discussion.
Sure.
But I think that we're in a very good direction. Like we have a lot of torches already getting passed to a lot of great bands. Like, we've had our Slipknots for, almost 30 years now. Now we're getting
Yeah.
our Sleep Token era, like you've
Sure.
had,
Right.
Yeah.
we've had our Brad Paisley eras and now we're getting dudes like Post Malone doing country and killing it,
Yeah.
there's been so much music and so many like holy shit and what ifs that are happening now. And like where I like
Agreed.
to use the term, we're in the land of disbelief because I'll believe just about fucking anything after all 3 Spider-Man appeared in one fucking movie.
Right.
The moment that happened, I was just like, I am willing to believe everything I see now, which is like awful to like put yourself in a mindset. But like a lot of crazy shit has happened since then.
Sure.
So I'm like, musically, I don't put that off the table either. I think that, we still have a lot of time left of holy shit moments before we're in like a really bad, almost like depression for music. So I
Okay.
think we're still in a very much so in a boom period because we're discovering a lot of people, tomorrow that were ants yesterday. And, so there's
right.
there's a lot of good shit out there. It's just, you really have to look for it. But I would say that there's a lot of hope.
I think that's a good way of putting it too, where it's like you do have to kind of look hard. And I don't know if that's always been the case and we were just kind of fed bullshit for a long time too, even when we were kids. But what I'm saying is that good music just seemed to always just be around up until about 2010, 2014.
Yeah.
I swear. And it just went, fuck you.
Right.
And it just was like right now. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I do think you are right that there is hope. Because while you do have to sometimes dig, I think people like us and the people that truly do love music, we do dig because we have our drunken nights or we have our lonely times or we have and that's what you do. You're like, well, fuck it. What's this?
Right.
And that's how growth happens. But, I as a rap guy was super worried about rap for a minute. And I know this is what shocked me, guys. Apparently, Rage doesn't really get into a whole lot of rap, which I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So,
That's particular.
yeah, right, exactly. But so that's interesting. That's why I kind of asked for in general, what you thought about music. So that's interesting. I like that we have hope.
Yeah, 'cause,
Okay.
I mean, it's one of those that because even like with the music that comes out today, I mean, we're kind of in an interesting place, even like with, reacting where it's like, yeah, we do listen to new stuff, so whether or not it's bands that we have either followed, for the majority of our life or if it's people that we've discovered with the channel. But I mean, there's only really been one miss on the channel as far as something that we haven't enjoyed out of like 800 videos or even the ones that haven't even made it for one reason or another. Like it's just, it's after a while, you just don't even realize it where it's like, 800 videos.
Yeah. No, were you asking who didn't make it?
Who? Yeah, sorry.
There was one Polyphia.
Yeah, we did Iconic.
Okay. Yeah. And not that it sucked. It was just there was no lyrics. So it kind of just got to where we were like, yeah, this is good. Like,
it's like that guitar riff was cool the first time I heard it. Now we're hearing it again. And
then there was I know for sure the other one was, and again, not that he didn't like it. It just wasn't the greatest. And we had a stockpile, but that was Wiz Khalifa On My Level.
Yeah.
That I showed him.
Yeah, because when we got done with it, I was kind of like, I'm like, I don't think I'll ever listen to this again. And like, I mean, I had some like points I remember like I did say about it that I did enjoy, but because those were the two for sure that didn't make it onto the channel.
I'm almost positive that was the only two. And then the ones that we lost, which was Lost. And
Lost and it was Clouds and Lost.
But other than that, Yeah. But so the fact of running into those snags, but no, we've only had a few that we didn't put up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the only one that actually made it onto the channel was the new My Chemical Romance song, where it was like I'm a big fan of them and I love their music, but it was just kind of that. It was like, dude, like it didn't grip me.
It wasn't it.
No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't it, man. And I know that even if you haven't come across one yet, you'd probably be the same way, where it's like when you don't like something, we're not going to shit all over it.
No.
And we didn't, but we got done and we were like, whoa.
It was kind of like one of those times where it's like there are some nights that reactions are fun and then there are nights that reactions are work, and that was like work overtime. And even though it was only like a 20-minute reaction or whatever, where it was like, God, like I wanted to like this, like it sucks.
Have you ever felt like that, where it's like some nights are just work?
Yeah, but I've also found some even just bands that I've I've recorded straight up reactions, I've done all the editing, and I've deleted. Because I'm just like, dude, I cannot put this shit out, because I feel like I'm lying to not only myself, but I'd be lying to everybody else watching. So I'm like, I can't, I cannot put out an ingenuine reaction. I can't put out something I'm not feeling, because if I'm not feeling it, anybody can call a poker face. Anybody. Okay. And I just can't do it.
Now, here's my question. How come you don't put out the fact of being like, I just don't like it? Is that what you're saying? Like, if you don't like it, you don't put it out? Or is it just like the whole thing, like you didn't like it and it just was not a good looking video? Because that's where it was for us.
All of those things.
Okay, because that's what it was for us. It was
all of those things.
For like Wiz Khalifa, it just didn't, the video just didn't look good.
No, it's
like how we were. Like,
it was like the spark was just kind of gone, and like you could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Like, I would record something, edit it, and like even like after the reaction, after I've said my thoughts, like I'll sit there and like I'll think, but like, and I'll like just digest everything before I even throw it in the editor, and I'm just like, all right, this kind of felt a little off. Like I clearly there was something about it. So let me let me really microscopically look at it by throwing it through the editor, doing what I can to it, and if I notice that I'm not doing much to the video and I'm looking and like the energy's not there and it's like authentically not me, it's like almost like I'm forcing myself to try to find things that I do enjoy about it.
Okay.
And if I don't enjoy it to a certain level, then I just kind of come to the conclusion that it's not for me. I'm not going to react to this again. I'm not going to, put my all into it. So I'm not going to, have anybody suffer through that,
Sure. I think that's something to be said about that. I feel like there's really only one person that I personally watch that has something to where, no, even if it's garbage, they leave it up and that's laid back trash or pass.
Yeah, right.
So, so like,
I love laid back.
Yeah,
he's great,
like,
dude. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing is that, people have asked us before, like, is everything just bangers? Yeah, because we do enjoy everything. But, and the fact of sometimes, like you said, that spark, that vibe isn't there.
Right.
And it's not that you didn't per se like the song. It's that the song was okay and you weren't, like you said, not that you have to fake being animated, but you weren't yourself. It didn't come off right. Yeah, right. I get you. Okay.
If I don't connect to something, it's already a red flag.
Correct.
As I base everything I do with how it moves me. Like if something if something can make me cry, if something can make me laugh my ass off, if something can make me literally like freak the fuck out, which I've done multiple times, that's where the heart is. That's where the gold is, you know. That's the feeling you want to give somebody else, because like we've all been there where we've shown somebody a song and they're just like, oh, you know, it's
the
okay.
worst, dude.
Yeah.
No, freak the fuck out, dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, why aren't you punching a fucking wall right now?
You're not reacting right.
Yeah.
Why didn't that bar catch you?
I wanted to give that to other people, you know?
Exactly.
And if I can't give even a fraction of that, then if I'm not connecting to it, then somebody else isn't going to connect to that either.
Correct.
And it's just going to be a bust, and people are going to be like, "Whoa, dude," you know. Then they're going to tell you how many ways you're wrong and all that other shit.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, of course, because they run their own channel and they're, they know what they're talking about.
What was the thing that we've always said is that everybody that comments is an expert, you know. So it's like they know exactly what you should be doing, you know. And it's like the thing we've said, like
NF.
Well, God, and honestly, that's the one thing that really pissed me off was the fact that you're like, dude, like, yeah, I'm like the NF audience, like, you know, like had issues with this and this or whatever, and they were, you know, like how I don't want to misquote you, but like it wasn't like a completely positive experience that you had with them, and it's like that's a night and day difference from what we've had, you know, where it was like, dude, like people were very supportive, and it's I kind of look at that and I'm like, guys, like, do we watch the same channel?
Yeah,
right.
Right.
This was a great reaction. It was a lot of fun. Like, it was, I don't know. It's really odd.
Hey, man, what can I say? Haters gonna hate.
Oh, he did it. Oh,
dude. Oh,
that's for you, Haley.
Every time I jump on a Coffee Time Live, I'm always like, oh my God, dude, she hates peanut butter.
It's like Michael Scott hating Toby. Yeah. She fucking hates peanut butter.
Well, hey, sometimes it's not about getting even. It's about sending a message.
Oh man, that is a short that is happening. I'm making a clip out of that, dude. Hell yeah. Oh shit.
Oh yeah,
dude, that like legit just made my night. Oh my God, no, but dude, oh my God, I did derail me. No, so like when it comes to like staying motivated, man, like what's something that you do to like, you know, try to like, you know, make sure that you either have consistent content or even if you're not making content, like it's still on your mind. Like what do you use as motivation for yourself?
So like we were talking off camera last week about how like, you know, that's a one huge stretch of time. I was pumping out like 7 videos a day.
Yeah.
Like I'd work my overnight job, you know, I was working 10 to 6, you know, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. every morning. And then I'd just jump immediately like right into my spot. And I would just, you know, go nonstop video after video after video after video. Because I thought ultimately I was like, you know, if I pump all this shit out, it's going to help the algorithm.
Yeah.
I was fucking wrong.
You would think.
Yeah. I was very wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously after so long, you get a sense of burnout. And it wasn't even just like burnout. I feel like I just loaded the entire house up with gas and just lit it on fire.
Oh,
because like I was so fucking exhausted to the point like mentally I was just like distraught and just so disconnected from just everything.
Sure.
Like I was always thinking about content. I was always thinking about like the downfall of like, oh, if I stop for a certain amount of time, like, is it going to hurt? So you feel like you have to kind of like appease that.
Keep
and
going,
bro. Yeah.
It got very heavy for a while. So then, you know, ultimately I think I took like, I think it was like 4 or 5 months off just entirely just to kind of like recalibrate, touch grass a little bit, you know, see what the outside looks like after all this time. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm always thinking about content, but it's like, I do it at my own pace.
Sure.
You know, I do it at my own pace right now until like, I get that same like spark of just like, I need to fucking do this like right now. Like I need to just jump in on it. Like I'm motivated as hell. Like there's like a certain switch that kind of has to go off, but like I've enjoyed what I've been doing so far. And I have like I said, like a bunch that are still sitting in the tank right now that have been edited that are going to be going up here really soon. Like I'm still scared to upload Houdini after Electric Cowboy. Like I'm still scared.
I get it. Yeah,
I understand.
And that's where like the motivation really has to kind of prevail because YouTube sucks. Like let's get honest. It sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
So going through copyrights and everything, you know, and just kind of spending all of that time on a video just to have it just like immediately blocked.
Yeah.
It's a motivation zapper. So you kind of have to go in, well, at least I do with, okay, this is why we do multiple videos at the same time and not just one. And 2, that even though that this one didn't make it, the next one is still going to be pretty badass. So like I kind of keep that mindset of what's next is always going to be better, even if it takes time, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So I think like right now, the whole thing is like, I go at my own pace. I kind of control the whole thing. Like I'm trying to kind of recalibrate with, I'm okay doing other things as well.
Sure.
Like for example, today I went live for the first time in I think almost like a year.
That was
YouTube.
awesome. Yeah.
You know,
dude.
and I played Dead by Daylight and I screamed a lot, like a lot. Dude. I was playing Dead by Daylight and I was getting spooked out a lot. And that's something I want to do more of, you know, and I feel like doing lives is probably going to be a little bit more of like the regular thing, you know, in terms of like content, unless something, you know, something exciting drops, or like if I found a new band that I'm really into and like I feel like everybody else would enjoy the content, like I'll put it up. So it's kind of like, the motivation really kind of sits in that there's an endless pool of things that I can do.
Yeah.
And I'm always working on something, even if it's not being seen.
See, yeah, that's kind of how I'm glad you said it that way when you said, you know, you were always thinking about content and you were doing all this stuff and you were getting burnt out. And, you know, that is always going to happen. But when it's in a healthy way, which I think you are doing that now, where, yes, content creating is always on your mind and you're always thinking about something, but it's not because like you were saying, like, well, I gotta fucking get these out and after I get home from work and make sure that if I take a break and then you're right. Like you've got to take that, like, okay, stop, just stop and let me see what Squirt does here.
Right.
You know, and the fact of, like you were saying earlier, I could not agree more, because I was one of them. I'm going to pump out 7 videos a day. The more I have out there, the better. No. That's why I put my coffee times on private 5 minutes before my new video comes out, because it doesn't know which analytic to push. And it took Kyle kind of almost in a sense like, dude, you don't do this. Like, stop. Like, no, I know what you're trying to do, but it's not going to work right. So, and it just, you're right, man, flipping your brain around and how you can relax while still going full speed. It takes time, dude. And you having to take some time off, it's needed sometimes, man.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, there's even been some weekends, like, I mean, because with our schedule and how we do things is that, like this week, we'll record, however many on Thursday, and then we can record, more on the weekend because, that's a weekend you're here.
Yeah.
But the weekends that Eric isn't here, it's like, no, we have to get 7 videos done in a night, and now our week is taken care of. But on certain nights that we've had to do 7, it's been like, man, like there are just some nights like we have nothing left in the tank. Yeah. It's like whether or not it's like we've been doing a lot of content creating that week, or if it's like, like something happened, or if we're just tired. Like there's been times where like we've planned to shoot on a Saturday and it will crawl up to that point of like it's about time, and we both are just like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like we have tomorrow. It's like tomorrow we got to get our shit together, but today is our day to rest, to do that. Because it's like that mentality of like, dude, even God rested. You need to rest. So right. It's that type of deal, so.
Like nobody really talks about how intertwined mental health is as well when it comes to content creating.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
they don't.
If you're not in it, man, like it shows. It really does. And like there's some nights where like, like mental health is like a fucking up and down journey with me. Like it's a huge up and down journey. Like that's like a focal point of like what surrounds my life, So like when you go in to do these things, it's like you have to be at a certain level. And if you're not there, it's just not going to work.
Correct.
It really like, and the songs that you listen to sometimes, because sometimes like you could be like in a really shitty mood, and sometimes you're like, oh, making a video might honestly boost my mood.
Yeah.
You fall on a song that day that you're reacting to and it's sad as fuck. Yeah. And now you're left even in a worse fucking spot than you were before you even turned on the fucking camera.
Dude,
so
I could not agree more.
People don't talk about how intertwined it is, So I can completely empathize and sympathize for just how hard it is to pump out, to have that almost sometimes a burden of having to do that much because you have to do that much, or somehow your shit's going to suffer slightly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. And that's where, we've had to look at things and go, Kyle will look at different analytics and things too. And he'll be like, yeah, man, you starting these coffee times has boosted these numbers back up because we were taking hits and stuff, like not huge, but like hits and stuff. And he's like, this is what it's doing and all this stuff. And it's like, there's
coffee time's lit.
What's that?
Coffee time's lit.
Oh, coffee time is lit. Oh, thank you.
That's so much fun.
But it's just like, you find these other things. But again, like you were saying, mental health, it's like, I don't want to, it's already a lot, but then going live and then doing multiple lives and then doing this, like there is a dance to this. And you're right. People don't really talk about all of the behind the scenes. Like we were talking with you last week where it's like, people only see what we upload on Instagram or the done version that we let you see on YouTube. That's all the happy fun and sunshines and rainbows and fucking dumb shit. Like, it's they don't see the depressing nights. They don't see the 28 takes that you're trying to do the intro.
Yeah,
they don't see the broken mouses. They don't see a million. Yeah.
I think that honestly, it's one of those like, cause I think like a shining moment for me where I realized like, it wasn't a, like, I don't know if I can do this, but it was more so like, this is going to be really hard was when we were deep in the NF journey. Cause that was kind of like when him and I we were both like really going through our own shit. I mean, it was just like kind of like across the spectrum of things, like anything that NF that could talk about that was heavy was going to affect us a lot. Right. And we got to, how could you leave us? And that was the moment that like I've said it a lot, but dude, like it's one of those that like it was the first time that I actually saw you and I'm like, oh my God, he's turning into me right now. Because it was just so heavy. And I think it was a moment that you left in was that you turned over, like we both like turned our separate ways and you were just like, dude, this is impossible.
Yeah. And then I said, don't worry, man, I'll edit us to make us look cool.
But I think that there's also like some kind of like, it's almost like whether or not you want to say it's like, God's helping you or the universe is giving you something, it was cool because as soon as we got done with that, we got our shit together, it was like we were okay. The next song that we did was real. And it was a fucking banger and we were just losing it the whole time. Yeah. Like that's because like what we try to do is whenever we do more emotional ones, we'll do them first. Like, that way it's like we have like time to recover.
You gotta get that pick me up, man.
Yes.
Yeah, because we've had times that like, because I think it's like, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but like usually like, we'll end with like the two patrons. So it's like those are kind of like wild cards. So sometimes you get something that's really uppy, but then sometimes we end on a rough one and it's like, bro, I need 20 minutes just to stop and just do nothing after this. Like it's so true, man. But I think it's also cool to be able to look back at videos that I know for a fact that I was fucking miserable, but the reactions were incredible.
Yes.
So it's like it's that weird, pendulum of things. It's just very interesting.
Agreed. I was gonna say, I'll ask one more after this if you want to. So
go ahead, man. You're good.
Yeah, like there's some songs that like even from reactions, like some that I've like broken from, I don't listen to at all. Like the only one that I kind of revisit because like I feel like I'm holding in a fucking cry, so I like just need a man cry. Is actually "Are You Really Okay" by Sleep Token.
Oh, really?
That is one of the one songs I only listen to if I need to listen to it. Like, because I can't listen to it on like the fly because I always skip it. I skip it constantly. Like if it starts playing on Alexa, I'm like, skip this shit. Like dude. Like that's like one of the one songs, for example, that I only revisit at certain moments because there's like maybe tension just built up and I just need to just kind of like release that kind of shit. So like, a lot of Ren songs I haven't gone back to because they've physically broken me and broken my time on the internet for a while. Like that shit did things to me. Like I did the whole For Joe trilogy and it fucked me up mentally for like a week and I couldn't do anything for like a week, like YouTube wise. I just took like the week off.
Yeah.
Dude, agreed. Like, it's not because Ren doesn't have replay value. He actually does. I'm the same way. I actually can't listen to a lot of Ren for at least the stuff that we have gone through.
Yeah, because I mean, because even High Ren is one of those that I don't know if this is egotistical, but I find myself watching our reaction more than actually listening to the song, just because I think that was such an interesting moment of the fact that we did not want to do it. It was a long song. We were exhausted. It was kind of like who the hell is Ren? Why should we care? And then by the end of it, now we know why we need to care. It's because I would say like, Power and like some of his like more ugly sort of like Animal Flow, like those are good, like, bangers you can listen to. But if you're going to go into the Forjo like trilogy and stuff, or even some of the stuff he's done with Chinchilla, where it's like it's not even the fact that it's so emotional. It's like in the fact that it's sad. It's like it's so moving. Yeah, and it's like that's like this is a spectacle. If this is going to be on my screen, I'm paying attention to it. It's not something that's like in the background.
Yep.
So yeah,
it's not very often that you come across like a musical thespian. Like it's not very often.
Yeah.
And there have been a few of those that I've only listened to once, and you saw it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I don't do it. There's a lot that I don't go back to. Like, I know that when I do eventually go back to NF, like the How Can You Leave Us one has been like requested a million fucking times just on the Hope reaction video when people aren't, absolutely tearing me apart. It's like, you got to go on this, and this. But like, How Can You Leave Us is like that one that I see constantly because a lot of the people that saw the Hope video were a lot of the people that found me through Ren. And we're like, okay, we saw that reaction, now you got to check this out. And I'm like, do I want to?
I think
do I want to?
I think honestly is that at some point you should, but it's even one of those where like I know that like even with certain people in my life where it's like, look, if I'm going to send you a song, I'm not going to send it to you when I know for a fact either that you're not mentally okay or that you're working a lot or like all that stuff where it's like that's something that I think that you should probably like strategically plan for yourself.
You should.
You're in a good mindset or whatever when you get into it because that one is you understand a lot about or actually I would say arguably everything about why NF is the way that he is.
In a sense,
because it's just it's intense, so yeah.
This is actually going to bleed into NF music and film. I gotta say, what reinvigorated like I need to do something like short film wise again was actually after seeing Hope.
Oh, really? Okay.
That actually completely reinvigorated like my entire like aspect on like maybe I should like bother some people again and like see if like, we can dust off the old lens and, because Hope had the almost spectacle of Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings was like the movie that made me want to make movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it gave me that same feeling again of just pure fucking cinema. And that's something I was like really appreciating. And I think that's another reason why I was getting so trashed on like how I was like too jaw dropped about the visuals, because dude, I was stuck on the visual aspect of like that entire music video because I couldn't believe that not only is one video surrounded by one dude, but all of just this almost like Weta level cinema is happening. And I'm just like, for example, I think maybe it was during Hope where he like fell through, I think it was like sand or something.
Sand,
the mansion.
Yeah, that was like, fuck.
Dude, that scene was incredible.
God. Yeah.
So like that, that's another reason why, against everything, I've really contemplated going back to NF.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's I think you should try at least maybe one more if you would like, because again, when you said, you're kind of particular with your rap, I am as well. And I find myself finding most everything NF does fits my critique or whatever it is. And where I'm like, okay. And with him being so clean and squeaky clean on his lyrics, he's almost forced in a way to use different words and they're creative. So I put that into play with everything. And I'm like, this dude's so good that like, I don't even notice it. Mm-hmm. So then hitting all of those other sounds and things for me. NF is amazing, not only lyrically, but like you're saying, like his visuals go with it. And it takes you in, man. It's like, I hope personally that you go through more NF because I want to see you get into more stuff and see some videos as well.
Yeah,
man. And that's like NF is another reason why I feel like right now, one of like, if I think my favorite, it has to be like, I don't want to say favorite band because I realistically can't nail one down. But the thing that's like, I'm stuck on right now is Falling in Reverse.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm super stuck on Falling in Reverse right now just because visually, and even just if you listen to like a lot of, Ronnie's like older shit, this is on a completely different like level, wavelength, universe, galaxy, what have you. This dude is on something different. And I think that is severely underlooked and underappreciated because visually his music videos are again cinema, like just beautiful. Lyrically, he's killing it. Like I thought like, I'm going to like go on record and say like when he first started the whole like rap thing, back in 2014, when he really brought it to Falling in Reverse, I was like, okay, well, I'm starting to witness the downfall of one of like my favorite artists.
Really?
I think like Alone, I hated the song Alone. Like I hated the song. I hated it so much. But then you go to songs like, Watch the World Burn, Ronald, like all of these songs. And you're like, who the fuck? Like, what the fuck? How the fuck? Like,
yeah.
And I get a lot of those vibes from NF, but I haven't been able to find a song yet where I have found that.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Like
no,
the
I get
connecting
it.
point.
Yeah.
I would actually argue that I think with your love of cinema and then, you know, just the idea of like setting a scene and everything is probably, I think the one, which one do you think I'm going to say?
Go ahead.
All right. Same time. 1, 2, 3.
Clouds.
Intro 3. Oh, we're divided. No.
Intro 3, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because it's what's interesting. I don't want
Really?
to. I don't want to spoil anything with it, but it's the idea of that like intro 3 is not so much of a song as it is an experience. Like there's sound effects. Like it's the idea like there is no video for
Really?
it, but to kind of give you like the little window into it is that the character Fear is talking to Nate. And it's kind of like, come on, we got a record to drop. Why aren't you working with me? Let's do this shit. Well, he doesn't say that, but it's like, but let's do this. And it's a great way to start Perception. Like it sets the tone for everything.
Yeah.
But I would say if you want a good visual one, Clouds is the way to go.
See, that's what I thought you were talking about visually. I was like,
Yeah.
Clouds, dude. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna do that because I have a few NF reactions up. Like I think I got to like, intro 2, like on the journey. I think I got all the way up to like intro 2.
I was saying, I know you have a couple.
And then I like stopped.
Yeah. And I wondered why.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah. No, I really did because it was some of the stuff that and essentially it's like Sleep Token and Falling Reverse were the only things we could watch.
Yeah.
Because we you know, you never know what you're going to end up doing in the future and you don't want to risk it on watching it. So it does suck. That's why I said, guys, it sucks being reactors because you now can't even watch your other reactors and then listen to music. But yeah. I wondered why it stopped. So, okay. All right.
Yeah. But it's like, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not against NF. Like I'm super open-minded to NF. I'm just not sure if anybody's as open-minded to my certain type of open-mindedness.
Sure.
I get you.
Because like I go based by like, you know, how it moves me, how it makes me feel rather than like the lyricism. Because like, and I think I've made like a disclaimer a couple times, like videos where I've been like, I don't really break down the lyrics unless like obviously it's a gut punch to me or like it really catches me off guard or something like that. Or if it's like a huge reference to something, like I'll catch it.
Yeah.
But lyrically, I don't really break it down. And again, dude, like I listen to so much less rap that I am like, what's the word for it? Where you just don't understand bars. Like you don't understand the formula of bars or how to break it down.
So,
if that makes any sense.
No, so that actually does make sense in the fact of maybe why your rap is so specific because not that you don't like lyrics and all this stuff, but like you were saying prior is that, you know, it's not always the first thing that you're going on and rap, at least for me, I'm so lyric based because that is the front thing of the thing that you're listening to is their voice and their, you know, whatever. So you having that vibe for all other genres, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I'm impressed by people like you, laid back, you know, No Life Shack that can like really pick out some of the words that people are saying in some of these songs. But yeah, like, like just like lyrics in general, like, you know, like how they're like picking out the bars and they can just repeat the bar after it's been said. I'm like, how the fuck did they catch that, dude? Like it's been going at like, it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, how the fuck did they catch that? But then again, one could also argue like, people are fucking screaming in metal. How can you understand
That's what I said.
Right.
We almost had to swap each other. Like he knows a whole different language than I do. And it's the same where he's like, dude, you're starting to catch that metal ear because you're hearing stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't done enough rap where like Kyle was starting to like with NF and stuff. I'm like, dude, he's starting to catch that rap ear and understand and listen to it right, essentially. Like, you know, so there's like a learning curve.
Yeah, like I think that's where I'm at a disadvantage, not having someone who is like
correct,
dude.
Now here's the thing. What's up, God? Go ahead,
no, I was gonna say that's one of the main things that's been like a big help and stuff is being able to have the second person to be able to you know, bounce that stuff off of because there's times that like I've rewatched reactions and I'm like I missed that completely, but you were on it, and it's like so like we covered everything, you know. So it's we are very fortunate with that. It's pretty wild, yeah.
So my buddy Daniel, like my best friend in the fucking world, he actually inspired me to not only do the Houdini reaction in general, but he got me recently hooked on Joyner Lucas. So there's going to be a lot of Joyner Lucas reactions coming out. Like,
Let's go.
Dude, he got me hooked on Joyner Lucas,
Okay.
like visually, artistic-wise.
Yes.
The way he tells stories in his bars. And I'm like,
Yes.
this is fucking awesome. So what I'm thinking about doing now, because he is like rap inclined. Like I got this dude into fucking metal. Like this dude
Okay.
is like rap inclined. And I'm like, now I'm debating if whenever he comes by to chill, I might crank out a video or two with him to get that idea of going, you know, into like the waters that I'm not familiar with. So if I can kind of get that support, maybe it might work, you know, and maybe you'll start seeing more rap reactions. So
dude, that could be cool.
I think I'm doing that.
Yeah, that could be cool. And almost like you don't have to have him on all the time, but he could be almost like, if you could, a reoccurring guest when you do rap or when you do most of your rap or something like that. Like that could be, bro, that's literally, you already answered 2 questions inadvertently that I was going to ask. It was, what is your biggest thing you're into now? And you said falling in reverse. So that was that. And then what was next for the channel? And you just answered that. So like in a sense, but yeah.
Yeah, man. It's I think that especially like you're evolving. You're trying like, cause I think this is the one thing that a lot of people misinterpret about doing YouTube. And we've said it before, but it's like, being a YouTuber is a lifestyle. It's not just, oh, I'm going to go in here and turn on a camera for a little bit. Like, I mean, it
is, but still there's more to it.
Well, cause it's like, it's the uploading, it's the editing. But to me, I think also one of the more important things, cause like editing and uploading is very mindless in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously you pay attention when you edit, but it's like, no, I know I can crank one out in 15 minutes functionally. That's done. Now something else can happen. Yeah. Like a lot of the weight of what happens with us is kitchen talk. It's like, you know, like working through things and being like, okay, like, you know, this and this, like, how do we figure this stuff out? Like, cause it's not even just the channel. It's also the life stuff we have to figure out around making content of like, okay, someone's going here. Oh, I have this happening. Or like, it's just
holidays coming.
It's all that stuff. And it's really cool. Like whenever you do get to see it all work, because it's one of those that like, I think that if we were just to like have conversations of like, oh, what are we going to react to? Here's the time. Okay, we're done. Like, no, like we talk about doing Shut Up and Eat It. We talk about like, you know, trying to do other things, talk about podcasts. Like it's just, it's always evolving. And like, even like doing the and remembers at the end, like that was something that wasn't always on the channel. Like that was something
it literally came to me one day while we were sitting here in the middle of a reaction.
Yeah.
And for him to have to do all this shit by him fucking self.
Dude, it's just, it's impressive that you're able to pull off what you do. And that it's like, you have the vibe that you do, man. Like, again, we don't just have every reactor on. Like we bring people on that are, you know, like that have, you know, really hit us in a very like you know, either personal way or hit us in a way that we're like, dude, this is just fucking cool. You know, it is what it is. Like you're a part of that, man. It's just really awesome. Yeah. You just do a great job with what you've been given, man.
Hell yeah, man. I really, really appreciate that. And like I said, you know, come August, you know, if all else works, you know, and I can get down there, you know, I'm excited to expose more of, you know, I guess the short film side. You know, work on something different, you know, like again, in terms of like different content and different collaboration, you know, that's something I've been working on a lot more for, again, you know, for something, you know, what's next for the channel. Like I'm doing a lot more like voice acting stuff. Like I'm redubbing a lot of my favorite scenes from like animes, from cartoons, from actual movies, like some impressions, some if I were going to do it myself. And the greatest thing about anime is the lips are never in sync. So you could really say realistically whatever the fuck you want. Sure. Because it's in sync with the click, you know? And I've done a lot of that stuff. And it's something that like, I don't feel like I'm, you know, the best in the fucking world, but I feel like I'm okay enough to start sharing it. And that's something that I want to, you know, start doing. And, you know, who knows, like a lot of people don't understand like the opportunities that YouTube gives you and, you know, the people that it connects you with, you know? So it's like going forward, like I want to start focusing on those things too. And a lot of people don't understand, like in those gaps of time that I'm not uploading, I'm working on something. Like there's something coming, you know, that there's tools that I don't possess yet to complete it, but there's also other things and collaborations and people that I would need to, in order to, you know, not only film it, edit it, you know, I need time to voice over it. And like, I'm working on a few things, you know, like I'm working on, again, you know, something for yourself, Kyle. Like I'm working on something for a buddy of mine that's doing, you know, he's starting to dip his toes in like animating and stuff. So like, who knows, there might be something coming out here soon, animated wise on my channel. So like, you know, I look for I guess I'm always hungry for the journey rather than the destination. And I think that's what's exciting about not knowing what's happening and like the gap of time, and why I've become so okay with it and so comfortable with it, because who knows what ends up dropping might be fucking something nuts.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Right.
like I keep that in mind, and that's what motivates me to be like, you know what, when I get to it, I'll get to it, you know, and
Okay.
it's worked out, you know, and people that I wanted to still be there are still very much so there. You know, like I get a lot of, you know, good, you know, great to see you again, you know, and I'm like, you know what, fucking awesome to see you guys too. So, you know, like I'm trying to, you know, be a little bit more prominent. And that's where I think, you know, the lives are going to come in, the gaming's going to come in, chatting's going to come in, you know, like again, StreamYard, if I have a live, if one of you guys are available and just want to shoot the shit, I can just shoot you a link and you can hop in the live too. Like just like that, you know, like there's things like that. And, you know, like I want to be a little bit more prominent on a more personal level.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's where
next.
I think that's where I agreed, man. And I think that's where it inadvertently happened with me and then us with the channel with, like you're saying, the lives and stuff. That I think that is something that is going to really change your, like not audience view, but like gaining that more audience and, you know, kind of being a little more consistent and things like that, because that's what it was for me. I was like, this is consistency now.
Yeah.
It's not flooding it, but it's consistent and people are like, oh, well, all right. So like, dude, I'm excited for that too. Like I'm excited for all of the new stuff coming on your channel, dude. I'm just waiting for all of it.
Yeah.
Just sitting here with my popcorn.
Well, it's, especially too, man, like when we had our conversation last week and, you know, you and I had a chance to like really talk about, you know, kind of like dream about, you know, projects or whatever and things that were on our mind too. Like, I mean, it's just, that's the stuff that like, I'm always trying to connect with people that are wanting to do something creative, you know, cause it's one of those where it's like, hey, like we don't have to, you know, do this aggressively huge project, but hey, like here's 5 lines, read these for me. And I want to make sure that you sound like you're in a room with, you know, like Christina, who's across the country, and like build that reverb to make it sound like you two were in the same room. Like, dude, I love that shit. Like it is, it's so cool whenever like you kind of watch like the puppies be born, but then also gold is formed. And it's like, oh my God, this is insane. You know? So like, just it's, dude, like you're a wicked talented dude, like just with everything that you do. And it's one of those that I know for a fact, this will not be the last time you're going to be on the Cavecast, man. I think that there's some ideas maybe run through my head that we could probably have some fun with down the road.
Dude.
So just like you're
absolutely.
It's just cool, man. You're just a good guy to talk to, and you're also level headed and not full of shit. So that also makes it a lot easier. So
I agree. He's what we consider one of those good guys of YouTube, good people of YouTube, man. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but to go ahead and close it out, man. The floor is yours, man. So whether or not you want to tell the audience anything or anything you want to plug or whatever, this is your time. Go ahead and just take us out.
Man, I never thought in a million years I would be right here where I am right now, because like I said, you know, I've been a fan of you guys since I think like it was like your 5th or 6th video, Zombified, Falling Reverse. Like I've been following for a long time. And then
appreciate it.
You know, my brother, when I told you, when I was telling him about like, you know, the YouTube reaction stuff, he was like, yeah, I watch Riker Road, you know, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, motherfucker. So like, you know, now it's kind of a full circle thing, you know, cool. And it's like, it's really cool. And, you know, like if you love something, just do it. You know, don't, even if you have to slow down a little bit, even if you have to kind of pump the brakes, recalibrate, do what you love, you know, create something fucking magical. You know, you got one shot in this meat suit. So, you know, just kind of make the best of it, you know? Yeah, just make the fucking best of it, you know, and just subscribe to the Riker Road dudes. They're fucking awesome.
Subscribe to Ragecxrcus. What do you mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I couldn't agree more.
Peanut butter fucks.
All right, guys. Well, hey, if you guys have enjoyed this interview, definitely drop a comment below and let us know. Just Ben, it was awesome just to get a chance to talk to you. Obviously, we're going to talk to you a little bit, you know, more after we stop recording here, man. But this was just a fantastic time. It just doesn't feel like work. We're just talking with one of our dudes, man. So this was great.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, if you guys have anything you want to see or anybody else you want to see us interview, let us know before. Let us know below, not before. Yeah. Let us know below, and we will see you guys next week. Probably when we fight a bear or something. I don't know what's going to happen, but it could be fun, you know.
Peanut butter slaps.
Peanut butter slaps. Adios.
Butter slaps.